Thank you for joining me for this second video. And again, I'm a newbie, so I'm going to try my best to keep improving. I wanted to basically go into more detail of how my journey started, the process when I discovered that I had stage 4 breast cancer, and my outlook after that. So it was the summer of 2022. Prior to that, I noticed some symptoms that was concerning, shape changes to the breast, and I sort of waited to have that checked out. I was trying to determine whether it was something else going on. I think I was in sort of denial that it possibly was breast cancer. I had also started a new role with a job, and I didn't want to feel like I was jeopardizing that. But fortunately, I had health insurance, so I took the opportunity to make a kind of an emergency appointment with my primary care physician. And immediately she referred me to see an oncologist. And there was a great chance that it was cancer when basically they were doing the exam. So I was already prepared for that diagnosis. So, of course, the oncologist scheduled multiple scans, of course, a breast exam, and then scheduled, after determining just with the initial scans that there was areas of concern. So biopsy was scheduled. That was actually quite painful. So they did the biopsy and determined, yes, it was cancer, determined which type of cancer or which type of breast cancer. And from there was additional scans to see whether it spread. Unfortunately, in my case, it did spread. It spread to the bone. So my summer was pretty traumatic. But I kept a kind of a more positive outlook. I had been through the cancer journey with my parents, as well as friends that I've had that I actually took care of. So I knew a little bit about cancer, not breast cancer, but other cancers. So reflecting on the fact that my mother had lung cancer, hers had spread pretty quickly. She had the small cell, so it was pretty awful and very serious. That's I believe, the fastest growing cancer. I could be wrong about that, but her doctor had indicated it was the small cell is a fast growing cancer. And she had great care, great physician, top tier. My dad was diagnosed with colon cancer and melanoma. At first he had melanoma, and then it was colon cancer. So his journey lasted many, years. He was able to have a pretty high quality of life. He didn't get it when he was young or younger. But I understand the journey. I understand challenges from having taken care of parents and friends that have had cancer. So I will say that my reaction, of course, was shock, just like anybody. I think that you're scared. But in my case, in addition to that, once I got over that, was let's keep one foot in front of the other. Let's not focus on the negative and try to do some research. And fortunately, there's been a lot of advancements on being able to access information, alternatives, other people's journeys. And so I did a heavy deep dive in the research. I will say, just to be upfront, I had already been researching a little bit because I knew that being my parents and as well as my half brother have had cancer, and other family members, that the chances of my getting it might be elevated for whatever reason that may be. I've heard all kinds of reasons. I don't know. I've had the genetic testing to see whether I'm predisposed. That came out negative, but there's something to it. So I don't know. And again, I don't offer medical advice. I don't offer, I'm not a doctor. So I'm just sharing my journey, my information that I come across. And in the future, I'll try to link resources and identify more specifics that I could provide that direct other people to do their own research and maybe help in your journey or your loved one's journey, which is the purpose of this channel. But I just decided I was going to move forward and try to basically the idea was I'm going to beat this thing one way or another. And how do I do that? My personal belief is that there's an answer out there. I tend to believe that cancer probably can be resolved. Let me adjust my camera here to be a little bit more centered, but I tend to believe that cancer has, there are solutions to it. And sorry, let me make this adjustment here. I think that there's too many success stories out there for there not to be options out there for resolving cancer of and all types. And I can go more into my philosophy and why I believe that in detail in other videos, but right now I just wanted to kind of go through my journey on how this all started. So I did have a pretty good oncologist. However, when it was determined that it had spread, the demeanor and the positivity of the doctor I had changed, and that was concerning. I decided that I would look into possibly another healthcare system, another oncologist, and so I did, and I found a great team that I've been with ever since. The demeanor was entirely different. I think that's helpful having caregiver or a care team that will give you the facts, but will be show more concern and caring, and also be optimistic and positive, not unrealistic, but be more positive, so that your stress is minimized. There again, I will say that my research has identified the fact that cancer likely had been growing years prior to diagnosis. Some research has indicated that it's upwards of 10 years. I don't know. I think that everyone, my understanding, you can have a bad cell, and everyone deals with it. Most people have the capacity to flush it out, and your body just works great to minimize any issues. Cancer, however, if you have a bad cell, it can spread, and therefore the more it spreads and creates other bad cells, basically that's when you have cancer, and it will grow wherever that bad cell is located or spread to, or something like that. So however, other research has indicated that if you have high amount of stress, that can trigger the growth. Could be other triggers. And there again, I'm not a doctor, but in my case, I personally believe that I went through a significant stress event, and this surrounded when my father passed away. I was prepared for his passing. He was already declining, but there were other situations happening outside of my control, and it just was a mixture of very, very awful things that had happened within a short period of time. I won't go in those significant the details of that at this point. Maybe in the future I will, but let's just say that stress was it was pretty much off the charts, and I internalize it. I have a feeling that and this was 2018, but 2019, the fall of 2019. And I think that it triggered my body to weaken, my immune system weaken. And so therefore it was just my body created this environment that it could grow these cancer cells. So all I can say is, if you have a care team that you trust, who can help you minimize stress and understand your stress, because you may have unique situations. In my case, I have a small farm, plus I work full-time, and it can be kind of stressful, and depending on the situation, it could be a more elevated stress level than necessary, than what's good for fighting cancer. So anyways, once I had the care team in place, I started the medication that they had recommended. I believe it was Kisqali. Kisqali. That worked great. Now, just like with any medication, any treatment, sometimes your body will adjust. Cancer is very sophisticated. It's simple, but it's a creative in how it navigates treatment, and sometimes will just things not work after a while. Sometimes it could take 2 years of the medication, especially immunotherapies and um, those types of things, to diminish in their efficacy. But I started getting a reaction, so I was um, switched over to Verzenio, and I was on that for quite some time. I will say my cancer markers, my tumor markers went down significantly. I was very diligent on watching the numbers. I was trying to calculate, okay, my next test, blood work test, how much it should go down. And sometimes the doctor would say, well, maybe we should hide these numbers from you because you rely on them too much. My doctor emphasizes that what they look for are trends rather than the specific number. So whether the trending it trends upward or downward can change the treatment plan and just alter what we're doing. So Verzenio started to taper down. It was, I would say, the middle of, well, it was around summertime of last year. So around early fall, I was approached about joining a research project for, it was a phase 3, and I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up, and maybe I can post it in the comments. But my reaction to it wasn't as expected. It was my body just didn't do well with it, let's just say. So basically, there was a change within 2 months to tamoxifen, and that's what I'm on currently. So far, it's showing that I'm having a good reaction to it, so that's really encouraging. I will say that I do personally embrace alternatives as well, including diet. But there again, I think that I will go into that in another video. I don't want to overwhelm videos with too much information at one time. But that's just kind of a quick or semi-quick overview of how this all began. Again, I believe that stress had a very big impact. I'm actually pretty healthy. I've always been pretty good with my diet. I never used to follow any specific dieting. I'd been an athlete. But perhaps the combination of the stress, also less activity, less exercise, more sedentary type of lifestyle, perhaps due to coping with stress, may have been a important factor. Again, I'm still continuing to do research on this because my intention is to beat it, and try and really tackle this thing head on. I don't tend to try way out there type of techniques. I tend to look at research behind maybe diet changes, or research behind getting rid of certain types of utensils, cooking a different way, getting a little more sunlight, looking at other supplements, vitamins, perhaps being deficient in something, trying to get more sleep. I'm a night owl, so it's a bit of a challenge because I enjoy being up later. So I have to remind myself, hey, you need to go to bed. And, um, I also have to use techniques to help me get to sleep because I happen to be one of these that thinks a lot, especially when I'm trying to sleep. So again, the purpose of this channel is to discuss the journey, discuss different types of symptoms and issues that I'm encountering, and how I'm trying to cope or resolve, and research that I've come across. If it's helpful for others, I really do hope that it's helpful to follow the journey and for you to do your own research and determine whether, hey, maybe that's something I can look into or discuss with my doctor, or a different way of looking at it. But please subscribe, like and subscribe. You can add a friendly comment or a comment about this my channel, and suggestions. And again, I'm not a doctor, so I can't answer any medical questions that you have. But it would be nice to develop a community where we can share thoughts and hopes and positive outcomes, and just the journey in general. That's my hope. So thank you for watching and taking the time. I appreciate it. And again, like and subscribe. Talk with you later. Bye.